Welcome, friends and fellow Optivians. Tonight we're going to talk about how you can stay focused through the holidays, especially with Thanksgiving coming up, and give you some tips and some options so you can kind of work towards what your goals are as far as staying on track through the holidays, or what it looks like if you go off track for the holiday season. We want you to know that whatever you decide to do, we want you to be all about choice and don't feel restricted or don't feel like you're a bad person if you decide to indulge on Thanksgiving. But a lot of times people work so hard, whether it's been over the last year, or the last few months, or the last few weeks, to get to where they're at. And so you don't want to possibly mess up the progress you've made so far. So I got a slideshow that we're going to do that I'm going to share with you guys and kind of give you some tips for staying on track. So let me get that pulled up. So tips for Turkey Day and beyond. So like I said, we're going to talk about some strategies for you moving forward with Thanksgiving and then beyond as we kind of roll into the holiday season here with Christmas. And so what does that look like? What are we talking about? So in the next, couple of months, or the month and a half that's left, we got over 200 meals. So even if you are going to struggle a little bit with your meals, there's Thanksgiving, possibly a Christmas party, another Christmas party, maybe Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So these are like the big, obstacles that you have moving forward that you might struggle with. And so what we wanted to show you is really like, if you're looking at the big picture, which is a huge thing as a client, if you can start looking big picture, then you really understand, what it's like to be able to make healthier choices. So looking at the big picture here, there's over 200 meals left in this year. And so out of those 200 plus meals, you only need to really be extra focused on 5 to 7 meals. And so it's not as daunting of a task as some people think, and people get really discouraged and think, the holidays are coming up, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, you're only talking about 5 to 7 meals that you really have got to zero in on and make a plan for. So just wanted to kind of put that into perspective while we get started and really talk about the options you have. And so we're just going to list, there's really 4 options for people that are, doing the program right now as far as what you're going to do. So option 1, you would ask yourself, would you like to stay, or your coach will ask you, would you like to stay in a structured meal plan with support and have success? And so if you decide to go with option 1, basically this is what we would kind of hear you say, like staying on program. You're going to stay in 5 and 1, you're going to stay in 4, 2 and 1, whatever you're doing right now to help you lose weight. And so obviously the benefits of that are going to be, you're going to feel great. You're going to have more energy to go shopping and spend time with people, so your friends and your family. You're going to continue to lose weight like you've been doing. So not only do you feel great and you have the energy, but you're also going to look even better as you approach those holiday parties and get-togethers. And obviously the benefits of being in fat burn like 5 and 1 is you have little or no hunger or cravings. So that makes it a lot easier when you go up to, I don't know, for me, my first year on program, it was like grandma's stuffing at Thanksgiving was a challenge for me. But I had, at that point, lost 66 pounds in 3.5 months. And so for me, going into Thanksgiving, I completely was focused. I was going to have my turkey. I was going to have my green beans and make, my lean and green meal. And I was good. I didn't miss it. And everyone's not like that. But it's certainly, when you're on track and you're in fat burn, it makes it a lot easier to be able to say no to the things that, you're scared of or that you think are going to challenge you. Takes the stress away, right? So you're not stressed out thinking, what am I going to eat? What am I going to do? Because even if you're planning on eating something and you get to your holiday gathering and there's maybe one healthy option, but you don't have the green option or, whatever, then you really get stressed about, well, what are you going to eat? And then if you're on 5 and 1 or 4, 2 and 1 where you already have a plan for what to eat. So that removes some of that stress. And obviously stay in fat burn. So there's the benefits of that. So option number 2, would you like a compromise? Staying in a fueling plan except for the main holiday meals, using healthy small meals for the rest of the day. So this is, kind of a compromise. You're going to get out of fat burn. It's going to take you like 2 to 4 days to get back in. But this is where is it worth it to you? Do you really desire to have those foods, or, eat the things that you want to possibly eat with your family and all that stuff at the risk of kicking yourself out of fat burn and having to go back into it for 2 to 4 days? And so, like I said, there's no judgment here. This is just what it looks like for you. And so I just wanted to kind of come in and address some of this stuff. Just know that you're going to go back to that where you might feel like you don't have as much energy, or you might have some hunger or some cravings. What it was like for you to try to get into fat burn. You're going to have to redo that. And so, is it worth you having that meal that you feel like you have to have, or that you feel like you want to have? Is it worth having that meal for you to get kicked out of fat burn and then have to work back into it? And that's just something you really have to confront yourself and ask yourself, and look at what you desire, and know that not only are you going to have to work to get back into fat burn, but there's a good chance you're not going to lose any weight for like a week, because you're probably going to gain some from eating the meal that was you're having your poor choices, and then you have to work to get back into fat burn. So while you're doing that, there's a chance that you're not going to lose any weight at all. So just kind of having some perspective on that, and deciding yourself, is it worth it to go off and kind of compromise? All right. So next we got option number 3. Would you consider going into a maintenance mode? And so what we say with maintenance mode is, so you're still going to do your eating healthy. You're going to learn, or the healthy habits that you've learned so far. Eat every 2 to 3 hours, 6 times a day. Drink your water. So you're going to structure your day the same way. You're going to make sure you're eating your lean and green meals, and you're having your healthy snacks in between, or your fuelings in between, whichever you choose. This kind of helps you mentally. That you're continuing to be mindful of the choices you're making, and you're not just throwing away a meal and saying, I'm just going to eat whatever I want in this one meal. You're staying within the parameters of the program to stick with the healthy choices. Obviously, you're going to be looking at controlled portion sizes, and you're hopefully not going to gain any weight during the season, because you're going into that maintenance phase instead of just going all out and doing what you want. Whereas most Americans, whether they're on the program or not, the average weight gain, I think, is actually 7 to 10 pounds over the holidays. And so, you can avoid that. You don't have to do that, right? I mean, we have this awesome program, helps you lose weight, but it's still a win for you to stay within the parameters of what you're learning, and keep those healthy habits going in the right direction. So you're still going to give up fat burn for this, but as opposed to giving up fat burn and gaining weight, this is more giving up fat burn and maintaining through the holidays. So that's also another option. And then there's always option number 4, which I certainly don't advocate for, and I tried to be a little bit funny with it, but hopefully this is not something that you all choose, but it's returning to your old ways and having no plan at all, basically. And so obviously this is a joke, but when what's my wandering eyes should appear but 10 extra pounds on my thighs and my rear. So if you just give up what you're doing right now, give up your healthy habits that you've learned, give up the eating plan that you're on right now, the fueling plan that you're doing, it's likely you're going to gain weight through the holidays. And so just being mindful of that, and kind of looking into the future and realizing, is that what you want? Because that's what we're all about, is you being able to choose what you want. So here are some tips. So what can you do to stay healthy through the holiday parties? Obviously, I'm highly in favor of having a plan before you go, and knowing, like what's going to be on the menu. Always is helpful if you kind of go into it knowing, like, I can eat this, I can eat that, or even just knowing, like, I have a feeling with me if I get to the party and there's nothing that really is suitable for me to eat as far as my lean and green meal, then you have a fueling to fall back on. It's always good to have a backup plan. Know what you will do when a challenge comes. So same thing, like if there's not anything available, or if your aunt, whatever her name is, brings her world famous whatever the dessert is, and you're like, I've got to do that. So what's your backup plan? And it can be as, having an accountability partner through the holidays, that y'all have both decided that you're going to stick to the program and stay with it. Obviously you can connect with your health coach and see if they can be that partner for you, or if you have a buddy. Like I know one of my clients, her mother-in-law was also in the program, and so for them going into that Thanksgiving meal, they know what they're going to do. They already have a plan for it. That's perfect. That's what you want to do to set yourself up for success. So don't go hungry. Eat before you go. This is true for parties in general, right? I mean, we're talking about really the holidays right now, but we always have these kinds of questions come up where somebody's like, okay, I started a program this week, but next Saturday I have a birthday party to go to, or a wedding to go to, or whatever. Don't go hungry. If you're nervous about what you're going to do in that social situation, eat your fueling right before you go to it, or in the parking lot before you walk in, or whatever. So you're giving your body some fuel, which helps you mentally stay stronger and be able to stay focused on what you want to do. And truly, like, this is a big piece for me, was instead of food, focus on friends and family. And it's funny because my grandma, she was the type of person that whenever she had get-togethers, she was the busy bee. Like, I don't think she actually ate. I'm pretty sure she didn't eat. But she was always over here talking to this person, helping clean up this mess, making sure these things were done correctly, handing out the presents, whatever. She was the little butterfly all over the room, and she kept herself busy. I don't know that was her strategy not to eat, but that was definitely a great strategy for us to think about moving forward, is be there to be fully present with your friends and your family. And if you have, a time where this friend is eating, or this friend's doing something, walk and go talk to someone you haven't talked to in a long time, or connect with someone, maybe even a new member of the family, or a new friend that came. Go connect with them and talk to them and really get to know them. That's what we are about anyway with Optavia, is really creating relationships. And so give yourself the opportunity to do that and focus on the things that really matter, which are your friends and your family, and not the food. Enjoy yourself. And then the last one's kind of funny, but it's also true. Strut. You can do your little turkey strut. Get out there and be proud of the progress you made, but also know that there's so many people that are at that gathering that are possibly in your family, possibly just friends, that really, really need what we have. And you don't have to be a coach to do that. But what I'm saying is I have lots of family that have done the program. Obviously, my mom, she's on right now, and she's done really well. But there's these people in your family that can benefit from what we offer. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to role model what we do as a health coach, or what we do as a client who is really focused on our goals, and that we enjoy it. This is just a mental thing, but just think about what you're doing and what you're reflecting to these people that need help. If you go into this Thanksgiving gathering and you're like, yeah, I wish I could have something, but I'm doing this program right now, or whatever. Does that sound like anything that's going to encourage that person to take hold of their own health? And it's not whether they're doing our program or not, but it's whether they are choosing health or not. And if you are doing something to gain your health back, but you are kind of mopey about it or not happy about it, then they certainly aren't going to choose to do what you're doing, because why would I make myself miserable? I love this program, and I have always loved the benefits of it and known that it's a healthy choice. And so it's easy for me to be excited and to be happy about it. So just think about that, like, you're making a choice to be healthy that's going to have long-lasting effects, and it's so much bigger than this one moment in time where you're going to have a meal. And the ripple effect from that is bigger than you know. You have family and friends that are watching you, and not to scare you, but to know that if they see you have success, it gives them hope that they will be able to do the same. So moving on, being mindful with your choices. I love this guy in the picture here who's had his turkey, and now he's either full of regret or full of nap. He needs a nap, or a little bit of both possibly. But this is what I'm talking about as far as eating mindfully, because you want to know, is eating this in my long-term best interest? And if you can really start making that mental shift, when we talked about at the beginning, like seeing the bigger picture, that's a huge piece of your journey. But also looking into the future and thinking about how you are going to feel. And like I said, you can see up here, if I eat this now, how will I feel in an hour? Okay, have that thought. How am I going to feel in the morning if I eat this now? And when I say when I eat this now, you're thinking about the unhealthy choice that you might want to make. And then think about even further down the road, and how will I feel a year from now if I continue to make the decisions like I'm making right now? If you're going to make an unhealthy choice, if you continue to make unhealthy choices a year from now, what are you going to feel like? I know I would be filled with regret and disappointment. And so if you can think ahead of that and realize that one bite of whatever you want right now isn't worth all that, then you're winning. But and if you decide it is worth it, then go for it, But, and this was something I always told myself too. I already know what this tastes like, so I'm going to choose not to have it. It's having that power over food and knowing that this is not your last opportunity ever to have Aunt Betty's 7-layer chocolate cake. It will happen again. It's okay. Pass it up right now and get to where you want to be, and then choose whether you want to do that again at another time. That's what we're all about here, is having those long-term choices. And it's, like I said, the highlight here at the bottom, you can have whatever you want. You can have whatever you want, but are you choosing health? So really just taking stop, challenge, and choose. If you haven't read that book, please read it today, tomorrow, before you start having these gatherings and stuff coming together. Know that you have the freedom to choose whatever you want. So strategy and tips, and sorry if anybody is watching this named Jordan, that was not directed at you. That was just a little graphic I saw, and that happened to just have the name Jordan up there. But the point is okay, don't stand by where all the food is spread out, and that is where you've locked down your position to kind of talk to people and all that stuff. But get away from the food. If the food is your weakness, certainly don't go stand by it. And it just makes it so simple to mindlessly grab something and put it in your mouth without even thinking about it, So get away from the food. Hold your water bottle in your dominant hand at all times. And so you keep that water bottle with you. If you start to feel a craving or an urge or something like that, drink some water and move on, A lot of times it's just like that. It's a mental thing that you're trying to overcome, and having that water in your hand and keeping yourself keeping yourself fully hydrated always helps. Use the smallest plate available. This is such a powerful thing mentally, and you can look this up, and there's been lots of research on it. But if you have this ginormous plate and you're trying to eat healthy portions, where the healthy portions are smaller than most people, obviously. But if you put them on this giant plate, it looks like you're eating nothing, right? Your mind goes, this isn't enough food. But if you get a regular size plate or a normal size plate, and not like y'all know the giant platters from Walmart or whatever. If you get the little normal size plate and you put your food on that, normal portions on that are going to fill that plate up, and you're going to think, I'm going to be satisfied when I eat this. It's just a mental game that your body and your mind, fight each other with. Eat slowly. Eating slowly is like your mom when you're grown up, chew your food all the way and taste it, and take the time to enjoy the food, because if you go in there and you eat your whole plate in 1 minute, then obviously you're not going to think that you're full. I mean, it's just the way your body works as well. Don't go back for seconds. I think that's kind of a no-brainer, but just a great reminder. Choose to do a cleanup job away from the food, like washing the dishes. This was actually some notes I pulled from someone else. I'm pretty sure a woman wrote that for her husband. So make sure you choose a cleanup job like washing the dishes. But anyway, so you get the point. Choose to do something. Stay busy. And this is a huge one. I actually had a client one time ask me about this. Her 90-year-old grandmother was making a cake, and she was like, I have to have some of that cake. And I said, you know what? She had, I think at the time, about 20 more pounds she wanted to lose. I said, get a piece of the cake, wrap it up, take it home, put it in the freezer. And then when you lose 20 pounds, eat it if that's what you want to do. If you don't, throw it away. But it's making that choice that it's not that you can't ever have it. It's that I'm going to save it for later when I'm ready to have it. And that's a powerful choice. Stay focused. So this is kind of echoing back to what we talked about before, but focusing on what matters. And that's your friends and your family, not food. But still, having these tips, we're kind of going to reiterate some of these, but plan ahead. Don't go hungry. Take control by choosing the smaller plates, avoiding a family-style dining if you can. Move before munching. So that's what I was talking about before. Don't just stand there and like munch and talk. Like go do something. Go move around. Go meet someone else. Go talk to someone else. Make your cocktails, mocktails. This depends on, kind of where you're at in the program or whatever, but you can look on Pinterest and find some ideas for mocktails, which are kind of making the flavors or whatever of the same type of things that you normally like to go for, but making them healthier. And know what, if any, alcohol is best for your waistline. I mean, I can go ahead and tell you that wine and beer are not going to cut it, like as far as staying on track and staying, like, especially in 5 and 1. Those are not options for you. But like I said, it depends on which choice you want to make. But there are some options that cannot affect your program as much. So definitely connect with your coach and talk about that. A few extra tips: make sure you get some extra sleep. Love the little elf over there sleeping. Exercise. Gail, she's on here right now, so she knows Thursday morning with Kelly and I and the kids, we're all going to do this turkey trot, and I'm really excited about it. And, for me, and I don't know about you, but like for me, when I do exercise first thing in the day, it keeps my mind on health and wellness, like through the day. And so getting up Thursday morning and going doing that little turkey trot with my family and stuff, not only are we getting some healthy motion early, but we're also helping to set the stage for the rest of the day and making healthy choices along the way. Stay organized. This person in the picture down here had, healthy diet, regular exercise, relaxation. It's that type of, kind of understanding, but staying organized also is, echoing back to having a plan. And find time to relax. I mean, I think that's something that probably people laugh at now, but it's so important to have some downtime. And even if it's only for 15 minutes, to go to a quiet spot and kind of just take a deep breath, blow it out, be mindful of your breathing, think about the things that you're grateful for, because the holidays can be stressful. And that's what, again, like, don't forget self-care. So relaxation is part of that. But, if you say you do great at Thanksgiving, reward yourself with a massage, reward yourself with getting your nails done, or whatever you like that's not food. Like you can reward yourself, but reward yourself in a healthy way. Or what? Since you stayed on track through the holidays, you might need to go shopping because you've also lost weight and now you need a new size. So reward yourself with stuff like that. Black Friday, be excited about going shopping for smaller sizes instead of feeling that bloat the next morning because you kind of went all out on Thanksgiving and now you feel not so great on Friday morning. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. That's all I got. Hopefully that gave you some great tips and some things to think about as we move into the holidays. Let me check. Does anybody have any questions about anything as we move through the holidays? Anything I can help with? Great. Well, if there's no questions, then let y'all get to the rest of your night. Sorry about the time change. I actually have some social media training that I'm doing tonight at 7, which I'm kind of excited about, that I completely forgot to put on my calendar. So that's what I'm doing later tonight. So I apologize about the time change, but I'm excited that we could get up there and share this information with you guys. So y'all have a great, great Thanksgiving. Gail, I'm going to see you Thursday morning for the turkey trot. Anybody else that wants to join us, it's completely free. If you want to come Thursday morning, all you have to do is bring like canned foods. They're asking for you to donate some canned foods for a food drive, but you can walk, which is what I'm probably going to be doing. So Gail's probably going to run or whatever. I don't know, but we're going to be walking and pushing a stroller and that type of thing. So, get out and encourage, encourage people, be an inspiration for people. You have the most insane gift to offer someone this holiday season, which is showing them what it's like to live a healthier life and live in an optimal health state, because gosh, the world's struggling for that right now. And, be a light this holiday season, instead of, being like, dang it, I wish I could have that, but I'm going to be focused, maybe say that internally, but outwardly project that, what you're doing is something that's changed your life, and that you're happy about it, because that having that attitude makes all the difference. So love y'all. Happy Thanksgiving.